You gotta roll with it. You gotta take your time. You gotta say what you say. Don't let anybody get in your way, 'cause it's all too much for me to say. And it's Friday night and the feeling's right. I told you on the stream that you're hanging with me. I feel like it's midnight. Now it's time to fucking have the crack with your main man in the house, Maloney's Digest. I know I was talking stuff about the war, about the war. Pipelines being blown up by the boys. Ba-da-da-da. You gotta roll with it. You gotta take your time. You gotta say what you say. Don't let anybody get in your way, 'cause it's all too much for me to take. What you think my eyes, man? He's got the Buscemi eyes. Buscemi, he'll tell you. How's it going? Hey, fucking lovely shades, man. Oh, fuck me, man. 14 viewers in the house. Friday night and to be dressed to kill. Down at Maloney's Bar and Grill. The fucking pints will flow and the dust will spill. And if the boys want to fight, you better let 'em. That jukebox out in the corner singing out my favourite songs. The nights are getting longer, it won't be long. Won't be long till summer comes. In another fucking 9 months or so. Oh, Melody Pugh. All right, there, love. You're all right. I'm seeing you for time. How are you, me old chava? So, who we got in the comments? We'll. It's been busy. It's been busy in the comment section. Johnny Sullivan, how you doing? How you Noel Gallagher, man? What's the story? Morning glory. Mitch, I always wear a suit, Danny. I always wear a suit. Subterfuge, misdirection. Two of my oldest friends. Klansman 29, and that's not with a K. A man of the clan, as in like the Clan McLeod from Highlander, featuring Sean Connery and Christopher Lambert, with an overt product placement for JVC at the end. I remember. JB Ray-Bans, is it? Oh, like those lads on Facebook that go 20% off Ray-Bans. Just share this. So they keep sharing the link to Ray-Bans that nobody I ever have met have actually availed of these Facebook groups that offer cheap Ray-Bans. Danny O'Neill, hello Danny, how you doing? Prodigious Puppy, hello there. Howdy from the post office. Just popping in to give you a like and get back to work. Cheers, mate. You can watch it later on in the archives here, fucking Pappy, hey. Melody Pugh. Ronan Divney, how are you? Launch it yourself. I've got a beer tonight. It's called Chopping Block, made by Backyard Brew. It's a Pilsner. It's running in at a smooth 5.2. Let's crack it open, and here we go. I was hitching down the road, it was out of the road, just as the sky went black. Not fucking bad, man. Local Swedish job. It says this: we are not going to beat around the bush. Backyard Brew is what it is. Brews developed and crafted in the backyard of a Falconberry brewery. A place where our skilled brewers go about their business and live out their passion. Curiosity and creativity, the result of great tasting. Brew is perfect for, let's say, your backyard. Not too bad, but I am thinking, is this made from Falcon? Is it made with Carlsberg Sferia? Fucking Carlsberg, just in a different can. I've noticed that with Sweden. It's like you go into the System Bolaga over here, that translates to just System Company. Very unusual name for an off license. Sneaky bastards back in the day too, I might add. What they would do is anytime you go in to buy drink back in the day, they'd make a little ledger about what you'd bought, and you'd send it into the government then. The government, if you ever had to have any dealings with them, they'd be like, "Ja, ja, så är det. Du har ett problem med alkohol, ser jag. Vad är det här? Ja, du tycker om det är fint att dricka sprit på tisdagskvällen. Oh." So, yeah, but there's a lot of beers that have different names, different branding, and then you see they're all like the majority, and I'm sorry for say this to any Swedish listeners out there, most of the flagship Swedish beers are pure fucking push water. Um, Spendrups, Orbro, Maristads, even, which is one of the finest exports. Eric's Berry, quite like it. But most of them give you a real metallic taste because I think there's too much oxygen in the brew and you get a fucking bad hangover. But that is actually very good, as are the Piston Heads. So there you go. A little without having to come on the beer to Sweden, I've given you a little bit of trivia regarding the brewing process of Swedish flagship beers. Who else we got here? WB 1990. Here, hey, how we getting that? Patrick Clenty, how you doing? Story Patrick, any crack? Mokara. Consumer 29. Martin, what's the crack with Stateside's misses? Which one, man? He was involved in a few different love-ins with Philippine women that he'd met online on, I don't know what kind of Facebook group that he had met these people online, but he met them, and some of them he engaged in coitus with beyond in the Philippines and met their families. The first one lived in some sort of shack. He sent pictures in the WhatsApp group, and there's just like people hanging out the side of a shack. And I was like, what's going on here, man? People like lying on floors in straw gaffs. Fucking strange carry on, man. But he was welcomed like Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now. That was, funny enough, filmed in the Philippines. Quinn Hensley, yo, how you doing, Quinn? JB, only the finest. Can of lilt, says Johnny O'Sullivan. No autographs. Good to see you, my man. I ain't seen you for time. Shaughne's in the house, making it feel strong and supple in the heat of the night up there in fucking Chirac, Chicago job. I'm keeping well, thanks, Shawnee. I'm keeping it well. It's a quiet weekend in this weekend. Yeah, Corrupt says, hefty fucking gulp. Jesus. I tell you one thing, 'twas a powerful thirst that was upon a man. The first can of evening has been cracked. Dr. David, good evening, sir. Should have your own after dinner liqueur called Maloney's Digestif. Maybe I should. Get on to some of the boys there at fucking Teelings. Danny Reardon, what's your thought on GTA 6 leaks hate? To be quite honest with you, as much as I used to absolutely love GTA back in the day, I find that I just kind of grown out of it, to be honest with you. I don't really play that many games at all. If I had the time and the resources to pursue such trivial pursuits, I'd probably enjoy it as much as the next man would. But nothing will beat Vice City, in my opinion. Just that was fucking a brilliant bit of work. Plus, I was 19 or 20? I think it was 20 when that came out, which is fucking nearly half my life ago. So that's the crack. JB, it would be some strong stuff with a name like Chopping Block. Oh, it's nice. So let me just revisit let the palate revisit and refresh the experience of Backyard Brew Pilsner Chopping Block. Oh yes, indeed, nice. It holds up well. Should have got a few more of them, and they're cheap too. This is our ticket to the big time. That's right, no autographs. Corrupt, have you seen what they've done to Al Hardy Buckscaff? I have. It's just probably a bunch of daft pricks that were goading each other on to try and be bad boys. Yeah, and apparently there was talk that there was people having barbecues out the back, and I'd say one fucking Egypt was like, throw some coals into the house, man. I don't know what the fuck they did, but it's sad because it's like as Ian from Humans of the Sesh said, it's like burning down the Father Ted cottage. It's hard, like when you're watching an episode of Hardy Books, especially series 3 when it was looking nice and tidy. It's sad to see what's happened to it, and obviously that's owned by somebody who I won't mention. Melody Pugh went to Indie Man Beer Con last night in Victoria Baths, Manchester last night. Awesome venue. Many samples had. Ooh, that sounds like a lovely way to spend a Thursday night, Melody. Fair play to your love. Mitch, been back to a few straw gaffs after the sesh. couple of old shanty sessions. Stateside is a god over there, says Johnny O'Sullivan. Shawnee says Stateside's gone full eyes wide shut. I don't know. Maybe we could even get him in, but Who knows? It could go. It could go. It could go anyway with him. But apparently he's on the exercise bike nonstop, and he's been doing a power of walking. So we might give him a ring later on for the crack. Stick around, see what happens. Adam Maloney, how are you, Adam? Do you know the history behind the Maloney family name and crest from one Maloney to another Maloney? I don't, Adam, but if you could enlighten us on that, I'd be fascinated to find out what the crack is. I do know that there's a coat of arms of Maloney. That is, as I recall, a bow and arrow with a quiver and three arrows with yellow feathers on it. Is it a family crest, or is it something that they knocked up for Americans to come over and then buy them and hang them up on the walls? I don't know, man. I don't know. Roisin, how are you, Roisin? Roisin. You're very welcome to this live stream. Just in was at Paul Brady book signing there. He did a reading and then on the lash in a few Belfast pubs. Fair fucks to him. A man Brady. Not a bad lad at all. Trevor smokes. Story, having some pints, mate. I am indeed. A couple of looseners, a couple of nice ones. Do you think that getting a body like Martin singing, do you think that you get a body like Martin sitting around playing GTA all day? Oh, a man Mitch. Even Martin doesn't have a body like Martin used to. I was looking at some pictures of myself when I was on holiday over the summer, and I have to say, I'm a bit fat. But I think I've worked it off now with the habitual exercise of having to walk around with my son on my shoulders the whole time and carrying shopping. Fucking hair going sometimes. Sparky, statesides to Filipino, like C3PO to Ewoks. Mitch can't commit to a small can like that. Well, you've got to get a couple of them, Mitch. Do you know what I mean? It's power in numbers. They burned down Buzz's cottage. Wankers, man, said JB. Yeah, fucking, you know what? Like, probably young lads who thought they were fucking big boys. Grey Morning, how's the form, boss? Not too bad, Grey Morning. That's a great evening to you. Dylan Core, what's your favourite pub in Galway, Lord? I'd say probably the Roisin Dove, because that's where most of the finest memories were had. I haven't been out in Galway for maybe 3.5 years now, so it's quite a while. Have you been to the Queen's Head in Stockholm? Nice bar and furnace, says John Conway. I tried to go into it once and it was closed. That's the one on Drottningarten as you go up the hill. Are you living over here, fucking Johnny Conway, man? Are you over here, are you? If you are, fucking reach out to a brother. Hello, Ian McGar. How are you getting on? Paj Mahash, it's the fucking man with the poignant questions. Corrupt. It's a travesty what they did to the gaff. Does that wipe the chances of reboot off the old table? No, you just write it into the script like fucking someone went to bed and left the fucking an appliance on or something. I was trying to make a joke out of that, but I was actually thinking about something. Fucking Dr. David Jason of Del Boy fame wrote, directed, and starred in a bizarre film about a haunted submarine called Ghost Boat. It was not well reviewed. I'm going to have to fucking check that out, man. David Jason. Ghost Ship. Television film, 2006. I love that, man. Who was in it? Tony Haygarth as Cassidy. Julian Wadham. Ian Poulston Davies. David Jason. James Lawrenson and Robert Whitelock. It got 6.5 out of 10 on the IMDb, and 75% of users actually enjoyed it. We can read the synopsis on Wikipedia. Ghost Boat is a 2006 British television based on a novel by George E. Simpson and Neil Arberger. The film features David Jason as its star. It is a fantasy tale of His Majesty's submarine Scorpion vanishing around the Second World War, leaving only one crew member, David Jason, surviving. 38 years later, in the Cold War, 1981, the Scorpion reappears. The crew have disappeared, but the vessel is otherwise unscathed and has not aged in the intervening years. A Royal Navy crew, along with the sole survivor of the original voyage, is given the mission of retracing the last days of the boat prior to its 1943 disappearance. A supernatural influence takes hold of most of the crew, and they start showing characteristics of the old crew. They find themselves fighting Second World War ghosts. Wow. Well, fuck me. That was a spicy bit of a synopsis. Um, okay. Great morning. What are you drinking tonight, lad? Chopping Block by Backyard Brew, and then a little palate cleanser of the Copperberg's Cherry, 6%. It's fucking soft tasting for hard cunts with strong livers. Um, Jinx, ya boyo. No autographs. Can't believe the course is burnt down. Knackers, man. Ah, fuck it. What can you do, man? There's nothing. There's not much we can do. Do you know what I mean? Holding back the years. We had, we had nice times. It is maybe a allegorical thing for the fact that the Hottie Box is no more, and may well never be anything more. And maybe it's time to just move on to something else in time. Hello from New York, says Whit H. Glad I finally caught one of your lives. Hey, thanks for coming in. NYC, where you Yonkers, fucking Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, Jersey City, Manhattan. Where you based, lad? Kevin Long, when Series 5, Turkey Boy, there's absolutely nothing on the horizon, unfortunately. I'm gonna start. I've started. Like the kids are off school today, so I didn't get much done today. Usually Fridays are my days of writing. I love cherry flavored stuff. Try that Copperbergs. It's good stuff, man. 6%. You know what I mean? It's decent. It's fucking decent. How are you, Kevin E. Murphy, man? You're welcome to the stream. Shawning says in season 5 of the books, Danny Dyer plays Vapa's odd cousin in Search of the Oldest Man in Mayo. He killed his other cousin Flex in the process. I prefer the McSberry's Copperberg, says no autographs. I remember they had Copperberg's 7.5 and Recorder League also running a 7.2, 7.5. It came to Ireland in around 2008, and it was very, very quickly removed from the pubs because shit went fucking nuts quick. And I don't think I've seen that strength of cider here in Sweden since either. I mean, like you drink 3 of them and you'd be fucking, you'd be like a piston in a 911 turbo job. Sparky, any biscuits? Get them. Kevin Murphy, searching for that mob up there. Danny Dyer, I believe in UFOs. Maybe we should watch Danny Dyer, I believe in UFOs, and have a watch along, because I do believe it is one of the finest bits of TV ever. But I would have to see how this would work with me being able to watch it. Would you be able to hear it? Because I know that the sound comes from here, but if I was to watch this on screen, could be worth looking into. But shut up, there's a man trying to sleep in here, says no autographs. Trevor Smokes, cheers from New Hampshire, USA. New Hampshire, I like your style. What's the main town in New Hampshire? Is that where the Hamptons are? Where all the posh lads go to spend their summers? Cape Cod, what's the name? Vineyard. What's the name of that place again? Martha's Vineyard. First of all, who's Martha? Secondly, I never knew that the climate was enough to sustain wine in a vineyard. Can someone tell me if this is indeed the case? How hard is it to get something off the ground as a writer, Martin? Well, Mitch, it's a good question. I'm glad you asked. You see, usually for me, it's not hard when you have a whole bunch of people ready to jump in with you. But if you're kind of doing it by yourself, you've got to get a production company going. You need to write something and then get it in front of someone who is in the position to commission you. And I don't know. It wouldn't be, if I put my mind to it, I'd definitely get something off the ground, to be honest. Florida got fucked up by that hurricane the other day. Yeah, I saw a massive seal just like hopping its way down the street in a residential area, and I was like, wow, that's something you don't see every day. I don't know if it's true or not, but there was a lot of hits of a shark on the freeway, and it was from like the cab of like a 4x4. But I'll be like, is it bollocks? Is it just some savvy? Is it some savvy Photoshop? Because apparently, and then there was another one of like there was 2 of them inside a shopping center, and I was like, nah, And if they were, they'd be bull sharks, and that would be plausible. Hence why I was a bit 50-50 about it. Lad swimming in the street. Cherry brandy mixed with Coke is the business. Ooh, Roisin Mac. Or decent vodka with cherry Coke. You know how I live, Roisin. Fair play to you. JB, I was in Belgium overnight before. I got so smashed, I nearly lost my passport altogether. You must have been on the old Belgian blondes, man, were you? The old fucking Quack and Lehef and Duval and many more. Sean, sorry, park drinking is Southern Comfort and Coca-Cola. I never really liked peak drinking is Southern Comfort and Coca-Cola. I was never a fan of Southern Comfort. There's something a bit too sweet about it, and it reminds me of being sick in Greece years ago. Kevin Murphy with Florida. I don't doubt it. That place has no rules. I think that's what I like about Florida. Corrupt tea. Nothing wrong with a bit of Southern Comfort and Coke. It's on the same level as Hennessy and Fanta job. Hennessy and Fanta? What kind of a fucking mix is that, man? I must try it sometime. Paj Mahaj, thoughts on progressive rock? Have you got any examples of progressive rock? Would you be a couple of examples? And fucking, it was apparently Dirt by Alice in Chains was the 30th anniversary yesterday. That was back when fucking rock music meant something. It was universally accepted as something that was good and groundbreaking in the grunge era. Happy Friday, my fine feathered friend, says Bernard Splendid, and happy Friday to you too, my splendid friend. JB, yeah, man, all that mental high percent stuff. Danny O'Neill, do you get home to Ireland much these days? I've been back once in 3 years, and I went back for 2 weeks in August. I was hoping to do a live stream live from Ireland, but I ended up getting some sort of a fucking gastric flu, which took the fucking crack out of the week. Missy, good evening to you. How are you doing? SoCo and Coke is your ticket to hell. Ooh, Paj Mahaj. Rush, yes. Tool, Pink Floyd would all be considered progressive rock. Pavlov's Dog and King Crimson, that kind of thing. Rush, I kind of only partially listened to. Something I've been listening to quite recently is Sepultura. Quite enjoy the mix of, like, there's a nice samba touch to it. I enjoyed that. Yes, Pink Floyd, that they've been a solid rotation in the old playlist for many a year now. Tool, we had this conversation last week about Tool being one of these things where the zealotry of the fans is off-putting. Someone's given me a £5 super chat. Thank you very much. Liam O'Reilly. I always wondered why Hardy Bucks didn't show off more of Mayo's stunning scenery in the show, a few iconic backdrops, etc. However, best show in Ireland. Thank you very much for the compliment and the super chat there, Liam. Appreciate that, my mate. Yeah, well, the thing is, in Swinford, there is a lot of nice scenes, but if you really want stunning scenery, you have to really go out to the remote parts of Mayo, past Westport, out towards Carnegie or Lannan, where there's some fantastic scenery out there. H read somewhere that Mountain Dew was invented as a whiskey mixer, so I put some together with a bit of proper 12, and it was amazing. Actually, I was watching Paddy the Baddy's video of him being in Dublin. I never knew there was an Ivy restaurant in Dublin. Ooh, it's getting very posh now. And he just went around eating everywhere, and I thought I could eat, but that lad can fucking eat, man. It's a shame I didn't put up that podcast with him. I was thinking about if I put it up now, it's a bit late in the day, but I could put it up anyway. He's doing very well for himself. Maybe I might give him a bell and say, "Hiya, Paddy, do you remember me? Sorry about that time. Didn't put it up." Let me see. Shawneen O'Riordan, did you get to watch The Third Man, Orson Welles, yet? If not, tonight's the night. A few glasses of wine, get it on. I was thinking if I was going to watch a movie, I'd like to watch Black Hawk Down again, just because the soundtrack's amazing and the stellar cast. Actually, speaking of TV, I did watch with the kids, I watched the latest installment of Rings of Power, and I have to say, quite enjoyed it. And was wait, it's quite nice to be able to watch episodes as they're released week after week, where it kind of gives you something to kind of look forward to in a scheduled kind of way. Because if you just binge a series, it's done and dusted. But it has it was the beginning of Mount Doom. Some great stuff being tied in. Um, yeah, quite enjoying it. The first couple of episodes, it was like imagine a Hallmark movie being made with a budget of $1 billion. That's kind of how it felt up until now. Them and autographs. Them boys play with their tools. They should be working, not playing with their tools. Missy, sorry. Good evening, Martin, darling. Thanks very much, my love. Good evening to you too. Kevin Murphy recently saw Roger Waters with my dad. Everyone just wanted him to play the classics, but he kept going on with all this political stuff. It was a shite show. There was a good interview with Rory Gallagher once where he was being asked, why didn't he sing about political stuff? And he said, well, I believe that it makes things very stagnant if you talk about politics. And fair enough, he had a point, and he made some fucking great music across the board. Jared McHugh, Brandy and Red Bull, A Dance with the Devil. Holy shit, Jared McHugh. Brandy and Red Bull. I know Jägermeister and Red Bull, as in Jaeger bombs. That shit'll fucking send you into cloud 25. But Brandy and Red Bull. I was doing a cameo for a lad once, and he wrote in it, he's like, fucking Bulmers and Brandy. And I was like, Bulmers and Brandy chasers, or were they just fucking mixing brandy into the Bulmers? Either way, I did it. And I have to say, it wasn't a bad experience, but haven't bothered doing it again since. Not that I didn't like it, but just didn't think of it. Johnny Conway, met you on a SAS flight back to Stockholm. A Monday looked right moody. What, the Monday looked moody, or I looked moody? Was I with the kids? Was I? Man, John Conway. You living over here, John? Head into the old fucking Gamlishtown Irish bar. See you there, lad. Roshi Mack. Sure, you never forget stuff like that make you sick. Danny O'Neill, ever been to my home county in Wicklow? Many's a time, Danny. Many's a time. I was when I was filming Vikings and Demo and Ivor, where I played a traveller. I was in Wicklow a good bit, and the time when myself and Owen Colkin did a disastrous live gig at the Bray Hotel. It was a kind of a perfect storm of things that led to that fuck up. But I'll never be playing that comedy festival again. Yeah, Adam Burke. Fuck off. But yeah, fuck, what can you do? It was their own fault. Pimblett was a modern day Ricky Hatton of UFC. Yeah, he does have Ricky Hatton vibes about him. And if he's not careful, he'll fucking look like Ricky Hatton. He'll be schwelt. Which one of your favorite collection of Ingwe Malmsteen B-sides? Jeez, it's hard to know what his A-sides are. Arpeggios from Hell. A lot of scales, a lot of modes. Did you hear Coolio died, says Paj Mahaj? Yeah, I only heard that yesterday. Sad to see him go. Sad to see him go. Sean Reardon said, Nick Drake made many beautiful songs and melodies. It's a shame how he died so young before he got an opportunity to play his songs to the masses. Yeah, he was quite depressed, wasn't he? Was it suicide? He was one of these. And who's the other lad? My Funny Valentine. Is it Chet Baker as well? Another one who was very depressed as well. I mean, misunderstood in their time, unfortunately. And a lot of the time, it's only after an artist dies that people recognize their work. You know, it's the fickle hand of fame. Is that fucking Moloch the Bull, McCann? Whit H said, yes, Coolio died of a heart attack on his bathroom. Rest in peace. Your singer from Tool makes wine now. Yeah, he's been doing that for a good while, hasn't he? Maynard, he's so fucking experimental. And Joe Rogan sings his praises. He's into singing songs about people being fisted in prison. So edgy. Shauna Reardon, Black Hawk Down was a great movie. Unfortunately, it reminds me of a cinema outing with an ex-cow. Well, it also reminds me of having a very intimate one-night stand with a woman I quite fancied for a long time in Galway back in the day. So it always, it's quite Yeah, I won't forget the sounds of lots of screaming and shouting of the guy who they're trying to tie up his femoral artery while on the job. It was a bit of a kind of a doesn't feel right, but it did at the same time. Just had to block it out. What a way to go, dying in the water closet, says Sean. Bit like Gigi from fucking Sopranos. WB 1990. Have you watched Dharma series on Netflix? Some dark shit. No, but I remember watching a documentary about him on Discovery back in like 2005, and then I watched A Haunting in Georgia afterwards. And both myself and my ex girlfriend were so fucking freaked out by the two that we couldn't sleep for all night, and it was a fucking shit show. So I don't know, certain things I don't really want to be watching. Um, I mean, the glorification of one of the world's most notorious fucking serial killers. You know, it's like, if you watch Making a Murder, making Netflix, Making a Murder. I was like, I don't want to watch all that fucking morose shite. It just, you know, it's like when we were down, me and Mike, my brother-in-law, we were in the outback of Australia 10 years ago. And anytime you go into a fucking remote part, like, oh, Wolf Creek, Wolf Creek. And I'm like, so sometimes I feel like these, you know, watching, you got to be careful what you watch because it does affect your subconscious. I went to see Hiroshi Max says I went to see Roger Waters in Hyde Park on a roasting day one time, but was drinking tequila cocktails being sold from the stand and fell asleep under a tree. Missed most of it. Oh, that's a shame. Jesus, I sound like an alky. I'm not. No, it happens to the best of us. The beaded bracelet Martin wears. I want one. Haha. Yeah, my daughter made this. It says Dad. And I remember like it was only one night I'd kind of, you know, I was like, oh God, it's going to look a bit crap having to wear one of them. But then I was like, I looked at it and I looked at the effort that she'd made, and it's a very nice bracelet, and I'm very happy that she gave it to me, and it's got little glow in the dark bits. So she did a really nice job of that. She's a good girl, and yeah, I'm a man who loves his kids, which is good. Thank you for noticing. Shawneen, Roisin is not the place of judgment, it's the antithesis of an intervention. Missy, Nick Drake never made an ugly noise in his life. I bet his gas was melodious. This is a safe space, said Sean. Patrick McGoohan, hi from Nimes, south of France, Martin. Bonsoir, mon ami. Comment ça va? I'm glad you're watching McGoohan. Yeah, McGoohan. You're watching Maloney's Digest area Friday night. There's 42 in the room now. Keep up the good work, lads and ladies. Keep up the good work. Liam O'Reilly, would the season 5 questions be grinding yet, lad? It's sincere crave for it, I'd say. It is. I don't know what the fucking crack is with the other lads, man. I mean, I'd love to do another one because it would be nice to have a full sum of its parts body of work. But it does get quite fucking annoying at times and frustrating. Um, Sean said, I heard Nick Drake once ate Clonical sausages and shout out roses. Kevin E. Murphy, imagine the look on her face if you would have stopped and asked for a moment of silence for the troops. In regards to the Dr. Davis said Bruce Jones, who played Les Battersby, found out the Yorkshire Ripper's victims said it found one of Yorkshire Ripper's victims said it traumatized him for life. Yeah, fucking hell. That wouldn't be quite a grisly thing to encounter. Chugnuts. Favorite James Bond. I always liked Roger Moore. He was always my favorite James Bond. And then the older I get, the more I like Sean Connery, just because it's so far removed from what's acceptable of the Bond franchise these days. It's like, what's your name? Plenty O'Toole, named after your father, perhaps. Yeah, it was just so effortlessly slick. Good question, Chugnuts. Matt Dillon. Oh, fucking hell, the actor. Have a good night, book. Good luck in the future. Cheers, Mattine. You too. Love the bracelet, says Missy. Get her to make a bunch and sell them to weirdos like me. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Sean Reardon, have you ever watched the B movie, The Cube, released in 1997? Is that the one with Jennifer Lopez? A group of people wake up in a maze of cubes and need to avoid booby traps and solve riddles to find the way out. Excellent movie. The Cube. I think that's Jennifer Lopez, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's not actually. But wasn't she in a film called The Cube as well, or was it a woman who looked a bit like Jennifer Lopez? I don't know. Oh, The Cell. That was the one she was in. Vincent D'Onofrio was in it. Vince Vaughn, Jake Weber, Dean Norris was in it. What was the fucking crack with the Cube, man? Got 6.4 out of 10. The Cell is a science fiction psychological thriller directed by Tarsum Singh in his directorial debut, starring Jennifer Lopez and Vince Vaughn. Box office $104 million, budget 33 million. That was a success at the box office. Fair play to it. Okay, let me see. Roshi Mac, Dr. David, I once met Bruce Jones when he came to Fermanagh to open a spa at the height of his curry fame. He was absolutely steaming and people were calling him Les. I wouldn't expect anything less. I wouldn't expect anything less. Dr. David, no way, really, wow. Liam O'Reilly, pest control, you knob. Best comedy line ever. Pash Mahaj, I always thought Casino Royale was the best Bond. Casino Royale was a very good Bond. I remember watching it in Castlebar with the lads, and there was a bunch of like cheeky Mayo young fellas behind me. And when he came out of the water, all jacked, someone goes, "Look at his head! It's fucking tiny." And then it just like Quantum of Solace, saw that in the cinema, and I was like, "This was just the product placement is just fucking revolting." It was all Ford Cougar, and then Skyfall, fucking shite, man. You see, the thing is, movie critics, they can't slag off a film. They have to say it's great, and if they don't, then they're not invited to press junkets because each nation has like smaller offices dedicated to the publications of the films in their respective countries, and they're the ones who grant access to the talent that are in the films. So if you say a film is shite, you're not going to be getting access in the future. So that's why a lot of these movie reviews nowadays are so skewed to mediocre films and saying that they're absolutely brilliant. Paj Mahaj, I always thought Casino Royale was the best Bond. Sean Dennis, what music are you listening to currently? You see, I made a playlist for my daughter, and on that playlist is, speaking of Bond, Nobody Does It Better by Carly Simon. Actually, I'll tell you what songs on it, but I've just been listening to that a fair bit because there's a lot of good tunes on that. You know what I mean? So I will tell you. I'll fucking give you the songs that are on the list. Yeah. Let me see what songs are there. No, I want to fucking tell you the crack. Okay, My Way by Limp Bizkit, Breed by Nirvana, Unchained by Van Halen, Ordinary World, Duran Duran, I'll Stand By You, Pretenders, Nobody Does It Better, Carly Simon, Achilles' Last Stand, Led Zeppelin, We're an American Band, Grand Funk Railroad, Summer Sun by Texas, Buck Rogers, Feeder, Crazy Gnarls Barkley, Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd, Alive, UK Only, by Pearl Jam, Just the Two of Us, Grover Washington and Bill Withers, Voodoo Child by Stevie Ray Vaughan, Outshine by Soundgarden, Bullfrog Blues Live by Rory Gallagher, Virtual Insanity, Jamiroquai, Hey Dude, Cooler Shaker, Say It Ain't So, Weezer, Roadhouse Blues Live off American Prayer by Jim Morrison and the Doors, Where Is My Mind by Pixies, Govinda, Cooler Shaker, Sign of the Times by Harry Styles, Every Morning, Sugar Ray, Freebird, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Lost in Music, Sister Sledge, Layla, Eric Clapton, Monkey Man, Rolling Stones, Believer, Imagine Dragons, Sweet Child of Mine, Guns N' Roses, Roots, Bloody Roots by Sepultura, Johnny, Thin Lizzy, and Heartbeat by Annie. 34 songs, 2 hours and 50 minutes. So that on loop is what I've been listening to a fair bit lately, and I have to say, not a bad old fucking playlist. Not a bad old playlist. So thank you for that question, Sean Dennis. JB sounds like a real life version of Henry Sellers. Who's this now, JB? Kevin Murphy, Sean, give her a slap. Connery. Roisin Mack, he got totally wasted before he went up to the spa. I remember just before the taxi came to the hotel to collect him, he fell off a bar stool. Oh man, there was a sad story I read about Les Battersby, and we were doing Reading and Leeds Festival, and I was reading in one of the tabloids. One of the lads had bought. We were just like sitting in somewhere in outside of Birmingham, maybe towards Wales, and we were having a bit of a break. And I remember reading that Celebrity Big Brother had offered him £150,000 to be in it, and he turned it down. And then the next year, they offered him like £15,000, and he took it. So that must have been fucking tight. Sure, how's the Croat this Friday night? Sure, how's the crack this Friday night, says Jericho. Missy, she was good enough wherein she kicks the crap out of a bad guy. Who is this? J-Lo, is it? The Cell was a messed up movie. I had hallucinations after, says Sean Dennis. Baj Mahaj, do you think the counterculture of the 90s is to blame for today's nihilism? It's a good question, Baj Mahaj, and it's something that I do indeed ask myself, that where these, these comedy shows and music that was, hedonistic and the flouting of I think maybe it was culture is always downstream from politics, and like if you look at the David Geffen Records, you listen to some of like Guns N' Roses, love the fucking album, but it's like, turn around, bitch, I got a use for you. Besides, you ain't got nothing better to do, and I'm bored. So yeah, a lot of the late 90s, early 2000s, so on. Yeah, probably there's an element of that. It was just to piss off the old guard, but now we're pretty much the old guard, and we're looking at what's happening in today, and it's like, fucking hell, man, grow a thick skin and get on with it, And like, I had it handy enough. It's not like I had to fucking work down in a mine as a kid, or like in a fucking Victorian, working mill. I spent hours playing football on the green and playing skirmishes on Command and Conquer, putting the cheats in, just growing the army so massive with mammoth tanks, and fucking could spend like 5 hours at a go on a skirmish. Time well wasted. Lou, howdy, partner. I'm good, mate. Howdy to you too. All is good, thank you for asking. Shauna Reardon, Live and Let Die and Goldeneye every day. Famke Janssen, who plays the Russian woman in Goldeneye. She also played Phoenix in X-Men. Back in Galway in 2006, I had a dream. I had sex with her in a tent. It was class. True dream story. Dr. David, if Roger Waters keeps refusing to play classics, he's going to go bankrupt. Then it'll be sign on, you crazy diamond. Very good. Very, very good. Mikey J, the Radiohead cover of Nobody Does It Better is class. It is. I agree. It's a great tune. Dick on your forehead or no dick at all? Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, either way, it's just not a great situation, is it? I'll have to have a good fucking 7-hour think about that one. Roy Orbison, you got it. It's a great fucking tune, actually. Great tune. Missy, okay. Like the best dad ever. Yeah, I mean, it's if the kids are going to start listening to music, I want to give them a good base of what's good from a man who, I'm not like fucking, I haven't made it in X Factor. Oh, Simon Cowell. But like, I do have I'd like to say I have a good ear for music, and I know what's good and what's not. I saw a super chat coming in from you there as well, mate, Shawneen. Where did that go? Thank you very much. All right, that will come up soon. It just disappeared. Apparently the new Top Gun, they had to remove some of the patches from Tom Cruise's jacket because it featured a Taiwanese and Japanese flag and would have offended the Chinese. Didn't realize just how much the Chinese. Alex Jones was saying it years ago, saying, "Oh, the Chinese own Hollywood," and I was like, "Well, it's kind of another group as well that you can't say." Fucking Yeah, there's Hollywood does pander to to the Chinese market because they're so huge, and of course, the bottom line, man, it's the bottom line, and that's why Hollywood is so fucking fickle, because anything that can, because it's such a full on business, that you get people who are artistic, and creative, and they have their own code of morals, or their own way of behaving, like they're an open book, like myself, for example. And in many ways, that's a fucking liability to a brand. Hence, if you slip up once, you're fucking done. Or unless you do like a Mickey Rourke job and you come back a couple of years later after being on the fucking brink. Put a bit of Radiohead in that playlist. That's a good point, actually. I'll have to put a bit of Radiohead in that. But the later stuff also was a bit fucking whiny and morose. She's fucking raining hard. No, she's raining hard. Paj Mahaj, Achilles' Last Stand gives me a feeling of marching into battle. Such an epic song. It is a fucking great tune, man. It was an early April morning. They told us we should go. I smiled at you. You turned at me. How can I say no? Daniel Blake. I am Daniel Blake. Give a shout out to Liam Elfbar Blake in Milltown, Mulby. Oh, the bridge in, as it was, the Way Bridge. Good pints we had down there, man. The lad who works in the bookshop, Richie, sound skin. Tell him I was asking for him. Tunes boy, says JB. Missy, you have to be older than you claim with that list. Yeah, but I was always into the older tunes, Missy. I was always into. I always wore a suit. Winter of our discontent incoming, Martin. Hey, what's your verdict? Oh yeah, big time, man. It is if we fucking let it happen. It is if we let it happen. Do you like the band Rammstein? Yeah, there's some fucking great tunes by Rammstein, Trevor. JB, I meant your man Roshin was talking about when I said he sounds like a real life Henry Sellers. Oh yeah. Now I get Reaver, how are you, Reaver? Cheers, Martin. I seen you'd commented there on the I didn't get around to reading it, but it just said spot on. I was like, man, Reaver. Also, yeah, do comment. I understand why people say like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video, and all that kind of crack. I do like it when I get comments afterwards, and I will chat if I have the time. I will engage in some chat in the comments. So don't be fucking shy about commenting the old videos as well. Little seed money for your daughter's budding bracelet enterprise for Maloney's Digest. Thank you very much, Sean. You're a fucking sweetheart of a man, and hopefully one day I'll get over to you and get that fucking block party going. That'd be nice, man. I could actually go to America and buy a nice cheap acoustic and just fucking, because over there you get some great deals, man. Going to like a secondhand store and it's like, here's a fucking Takamine guitar going for like $150. Shawnee, look at the counter culture of the 90s. The first ones to cater to the machine are now they're into the 40s and 50s. Is Stateside coming on? I haven't even had a chance to look at that yet. The chat has been so fast paced and blistering so far. Pajman the Beatles are always a good start for your child. The roots of modern music, absolutely. If you listen to there's so many like Oasis or Extreme, like Nuno Betancourt, you can hear all the. I mean, I know Extreme isn't for everybody, but there's some fucking flashy musicianship in that band from Boston, and you can definitely hear the over influences of the Beatles in their playing. Mark Hughes, that's why Van Gogh was a painter. Yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing about the idea of being a painter is you're a standalone. I suppose it also, if you're if you can get past the gatekeepers, because the thing is there's a lot of people who there's a lot of people who they're in control, and I seen some here about how Weinstein thrived. It's the cowardice. I mean, people know shit's going on, and they don't say anything because they know that if they fucking speak out, they're done. And that's why I don't really like the industry. You've got to be very careful if you're in the public eye and you're on TV and you're an actor and the higher you go up, because it's very difficult to know who's in it, who's sound and genuinely wants to hang out with you because they like you as a person, and that they are willing to trade the qualities that you bring to them and vice versa, versus the people who are in it for themselves, and once you take a bit of a dip, they're fucking gone. You don't hear from them. It's definitely, I can imagine if you're someone like fucking Haley Joel Osment, or the kid from Problem Child, or most child actors like fucking the lad who looks uh, Terminator 2, Edward Furlong. Like, it's too much too soon. Corey Feldman and all the boys. Dr. David, Jape is the man in control of the console. Kevin Murphy, Mel Gibson got it the worst. I still think one of my favorite actors. Mel Gibson, he's a fucking great actor, man. He's a great director. I remember hearing he was talking in an interview, and he said, I've been in the office, and you're talking to your friend, and you just feel the knife sliding in between your shoulder blades, and you think, fuck, I'm being screwed over here, and you learn to take it. Missy, success has a different meaning altogether nowadays. Staying uncorrupt is the true triumph. That's a very, very good point, Missy. Yeah, it is. I think that is, as the old biblical quote goes, what good is all the riches of the earth if it costs a man his soul? And your integrity and not selling out is the most important thing, and there are many ways you can sell out. There are ways of selling out without realizing you're selling out. But I think ultimately, to be able to retain your own core values is the treasure that an individual should be seeking. Yeah, you could play the game, you could be disingenuous, and you could be very tactful about how you discuss things. But I think ultimately, to be able to speak your truth and not be afraid of cancel culture or just jealous pricks who, I mean, most of these, like, here's an example. Have you noticed that the grid girls, for example, in Formula One, there's a big, or like ring girls in like sports like boxing. I don't see many beautiful women kicking off about this. It's usually like purple-haired fatties with septum piercings who go around preaching about uh, third wave feminism. And basically, what a lot of that kind of just boils down to is jealousy, and it's jealousy disguised as virtue. Um, and men have it as well. So that's my opinion. Who am I? I'm no fucking clinical psychologist, but I've been around the block, and I fucking eyes to see and ears to hear and a brain that processes that information. Might not be right, but I'm not gonna fucking bullshit you. Stereophonic Safe, my favorite. They have some tunes, lad. You see, I went off Stereophonics after the way they treated the drummer. Well, I mean, look, maybe he was a crazy fucker, but I just thought it was quite sad how it ended up for the drummer. And I think that Mr. Writer, we used to always sing Mr. Wimey based on some fucking BBC TV kids show. But I just thought, I don't know, man. Like I thought that Just Enough Education to perform, it was overplayed at the time. That kind of put me off. But good band though, not knocking them, even though it might sound like I'm knocking them. Why was it named Hollywood? Where did the Merlin's magic wand come from? Holly, the Druids. A Hollywood tree, yes, Sean. Makes you wonder. The Hollywood spell controls the minds and influences the masses on every level. Absolutely. Idol. The icons. You're basically. It is. It's a fucking weird. The higher you go up, the weirder it gets, man. Like I was all about fucking grabbing that shit with two hands, and looking back, I think I was saved from it, because if things had gone really well for me and I just gone straight to the top, I know for a fact I would have turned into an arrogant wanker that spoke about how great I was, unless I was insulated by good people around me. And I think that's the key. You've got to hang out with people who are ordinary people from your past, the good ones who stick with you. And it's going to be a wild ride, man, because there's a lot of, even like I've been out the spotlight for a couple of years now, and half of that is kind of by choice. Like the idea of I haven't been chasing my agents for work, and I just don't like the idea of when you turn up onto a set, you're owned. Like, and especially if you're a smaller part, you know the things in your personal life you have to sacrifice in order to get there, and you kind of think, well, I've got bigger, like the welfare of my kids is more important than. But at the same time, I'm good at that. I'm experienced in that, and then having to kind of, it's a double-edged sword. I'd like to get into it, but I don't want to get involved in the. I just want to turn up, do it, and then get paid, and then fuck off. Whereas before, I was like, oh, the class film, like, now I'm kind of don't really watch films. I mean, I try to watch one or two a week if I can, but it's annoying because I'm like, oh, I met him, fucking met him before. He's a dickhead. Met him, oh, he's sound, and that's the crack. Shout out to Kujni Westside Boatman, says Ans. Seaside Cloud. Many misses pissed off to Texas. My missus pissed off to Texas with my child. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully, you're all reunited happily soon. Liam O'Reilly. I sometimes think Torda feels he's above Hardy Books now. Sad face. Well, I think that's how it is. And in many ways, he's taken intellectual property off with him and done his own thing. More power to him. I don't give a fuck. But like, like if you consider the Hardy Books as being a cake, and you consider his role in it as the raising agent, the baking powder, it's one component in a very an extensive list of ingredients. But without that, he was the catalyst to drive it on. I'm like the eggs, the emulsifier. Buzz brings the sweetness. The boo is the creamy bit. French toast is the fucking orange peel. Salmon is the icing. Stateside is the cherry on top. Cowboy is the fucking drizzle. Yeah, so my ex-husband was a child actor and it ruined him emotionally, says Missy. Yeah, I would keep your kids fucking miles away from show business. Paj Mahaj, Edward Furlong is in bits now. Yeah, he looks like he could be Rosie O'Donnell's girlfriend. Mark Hughes, Missy says, I'm a painter. It's awesome, but when you have to paint for someone else, it's work, work, work. Yeah, and then at the end of it, you have to give it away, which is kind of a tough one. At least if you make something in the digital or in film, you can always watch it. Show people. But if you're commissioned to paint someone for someone, you've labored over it and it's someone else's leisure. Unless you get prints, obviously you should get prints. Did someone say fucking Mark Hughes, the footballer? Was that about Van Gogh saying he didn't have an ear for music? The kid who played Anakin Skywalker hates life. Oh man, that poor kid. I was actually looking up him, and yeah, it ruined his life. And everyone in school just took the piss out of him non-stop. And then they replaced him with Hayden Christensen. But that lad who played Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace, poor fucking lad, man. Are you that child actor from Glenroe? Miley's young fella. Don't know. No. Love this kid. Dear God. With the septum rings. Just Maloney from the block, says Joseph Sullivan. Like Jenny from the block. Dr. David, I saw you slam dancing at Shed 7 reunion in a prefab in Atherstone. Mitch Shipton, I here for some serious digest. I'll add Mitch. Bastard Sprinkler 3000. Serious question, Martin, man. Do you think nukes will be used soon? It's scary. There's two scenarios to that question. First of all, providing that there's two factors, right? There is psychopathy and stupidity, and they're both as fucking scary as each other. And you throw in ego. I mean, I've seen some explosions happening out in Ukraine, and you're thinking they look like fucking nukes anyway. Like the size of some of these things. Don't know. It's a scary thought. but you kind of have to. I mean, look, the one thing that stopped the use of nukes was the concept of mutual assured destruction. And if people are now look, I like I said on the video I did the other day, the lunatics who have absolute disregard for the environment and the people that inhabit the globe, they they certainly don't give a fuck about us as individuals or our families or our friends or our communities or the environment, and they're a lot of them are driven by personal vendettas, some sort of trauma experience in early life that they're trying to resolve by exerting power over others. Some of them are just simply they're psychotic and they don't have any emotion or any fear, and it makes you, yeah, I mean, you know, greed and the lust for power will make people do insanely barbaric acts of mass destruction. Um, Personally speaking, I don't think so. I don't think so. But then again, who knows? It sometimes I feel like we're all, I think about the life that we know on this earth. It's kind of like maybe we we're playing on a spiritual level some sort of really advanced computer game, a simulation of sorts, and I don't know. If you it depends, reincarnation, Christianity, whatever you subscribe to or you ascribe to in terms of uh theologically. But sometimes I'm like, you think, why did if let's say your soul chose to be alive now in this, are some people playing it on the extreme mode is fucking hardcore mode, and some people are playing it on like easy mode. If you're, comparing this to a computer game, and then you think to yourself, God, imagine like people who are like who chose to live in the trenches of World War I or like any given battlefield, the Battle of Waterloo, for example. And it makes you think like sometimes I feel like the harder your life is, the better your soul points gets on the leaderboard. I don't know. That's just me kind of like spitballing and campfire chats with the boys kind of shit. Um Nah, Missy said, nah, you would have met me. I would shoot you straight. Someone who a straight shooter, man. Always go with people who are straight shooters and people who will tell you straight. Um, an honest friend is a true friend. And if you're going through a shitty time in your life, sometimes it's good to fucking get it straight from people. Maloney's digestion, says Shawneen. Oxjaw hand says Graham Russell. Hello, Graham, mate. You're very welcome to the chat. Always good to see you, lad. Always good to see you. Patrick McGoohan. Martin, was it the beauty of Swinford about and why it was picked for the Hardy Bucks location? It is a great town, but if there was another town that Castletown could have been based on, where would that be? Well, I guess it was our hometown. So like it was just all that we had it all the we knew people and we knew the town, and the town we had a history with it and an affinity for it. So we have kind of used different parts of like there's different shots that are done in Culturemore, Castlebar, Swinford, Kilkelly, and Foxford. The satellite or the towns in the immediate area. So there's like bits of that. Do you know what I mean? Bits of that. Salmon the cherry. Fucked it. Cowboy is the drizzle, Mitch Shipton says. Cowboy is the drizzle. Stephen Grant, a dirty puddle that won't cool a hot iron. Please give an insight into this line. Basically, imagine when French Toast went to the job interview and he was talking about womanizing, and that he would say if he was in need of hard loving, his standards would be so low that he would basically say, a dirty puddle that won't cool a hot iron. is a fucking puddle too far gone, so much so that it won't cool the hot iron. Come up here, Jamesy boy. Oh, ho, ho. Come up here to me. Fucking saber tooth. It's the fucking saber tooth, lad, man. Look at the fucking dimensions of him, man. The dimensions. They call him Dimensions Beast. How you know, Dimensions Beast? You chill out there, good beast. Kevin Murphy, my girlfriend just woke up and started drinking. She's a Balkan lass from Bulgaria, so I'm not sure if I should say something or if it's a cultural thing. She probably just wants to get a good night's kip. Shauna Reardon, what would you put in your favorite breakfast omelet? Omelets, man. They're a tricky old thing to do if you don't have the right pan. And I was putting way too much stuff into them. I think with omelets, you got to keep them simple. Bit of cheese, bit of ham, salt and pepper, little bit of. I took Ralph Cifaretto's advice and used a little bit of sour cream, but that's more so for scrambled eggs. Chives, fresh chives, and I just keep it simple. Maybe some peppers. I was going all out, man, putting like fucking aubergines, peppers, tomatoes, but then it gets too wet, and then tuna. The whole thing starts falling apart. So I think keeping omelet simple is the key. Plenty of fucking cheese though. The midichlorian count was off the charts. What was that, hey? Bastard Sprinkler 3000. The new Rings of Power series is getting a fair amount of shtick, hey? Well, it's just been really fucking boring and yeah, but the episode 6 was good. I enjoyed that. There was finally a bit of action, and hopefully now it's just fucking action all the time. Because let's face it, you know, I know I'm not shitting on Lord of the Rings culture or anything, but it's like you just want Lord of the Rings to be plenty of fucking action and mad stuff going on. Father Ted ended after 3 series, and people seem satisfied. Hardy Books got 4, but folks still crave more. Are we greedy, or is it unfinished? I think the thing is with Hardy Books is it can always keep going because it's based on contemporary, things that are happening. And I definitely think I don't think it matters what age. Some people are like, oh yeah, you can't have like the lads doing the same thing, getting pissed. No, you don't. You'd have like they will age. Like, I mean, if you look at nutters around the town, they eventually they still do nuts things, but in different scenarios, like my life in real life. Either way, we're in for a cold winter, lads, says Og. OG. Replaying him with Hayden was the biggest insult. Joseph Sullivan says regarding the lad who was playing Anakin Skywalker. Baj Mahaj, a lot of people shit on the Star Wars prequels. I thought they were great, but probably my bias because that's Star Wars I grew up with. I remember, like, I think I've only seen Revenge of the Sith once, and that was in 2005 at my mate Jens's house here in Sweden. And liked it until the bit where Darth Vader comes off. He goes in as Anakin, all burnt up, and comes out like doing the fucking robot off the table, and then sounds like Principal Skinner by going, no. So now they're just fucking, Disney are really just diluting the brand, man. You know what I mean? It's like every year there would be a 3-year wait that would like whet the appetite, and now it's just like Obi-Wan series, Mandalorian, fucking Endor. I've seen none of them. I mean, like, the annoying thing is about prequels. I haven't seen Better Call Saul either, because I know Saul's not going to die because he's in Breaking Bad. So it's a bit annoying, man. Do you know what I mean? Worth it to see Neeson in a ponytail alone, Qui-Gon Jinn. If you've ever watched Doctor Strangelove, they expose the fact that there's an acceptable loss in any war, but be it conventional or otherwise, the rest of us are just statistics. Yeah, they don't give a fuck, man. If you look at how many people the Russian army threw into like impossible odds. I mean, basically, they were just cannon fodder, not enough rifles, pick up a rifle, just run empty-handed into German machine gun fire. Eventually they won, but it was a fucking huge cost of civilian lives. Um, Jar Jar Binks nearly ruins it though. Jar Jar Binks. Sean Origin, have you checked out Chris Thrall's ex SAS YouTube channel? He provides great updates on the. Yeah, I was on that channel. I was on that about 2 years ago. He's a good lad. He had Robbie Williams on it as well. I don't think he's not he's not ex SAS, so he's ex Marine. But he's got a very interesting story. Chris, he's he was addicted to crystal meth and working for some triads out in Hong Kong. So he managed to come through all of that, and fair play to him. Chris, if you're watching, good to see you. Jar Jar's actor got an awful going over. Troy Murphy, subterfuge and misdirection. Absolutely. Two of my oldest friends, mate. You see, my ex has the Rebel Alliance tattoo, and that's why he's your ex. um, this generation needs a good war, methinks. Do you know what? It's sad to say so, but when you see some of these fucking videos and TikTok, which funny enough, in China, you get TikTok videos that promote education and strong personal well-being, whereas the TikTok over here is fucking idiots dancing. Um, Nutters talking about their cat pronouns and just fucking misguided spinsters talking about neurodivergent bollocks and more pronouns, and like it's you know I would recommend, if you're living in the States or the UK, fucking sack off college, man. Just get a trade. You will always need someone to build and fix things, and you'll be getting good wedge for it. And you don't have to listen to that fucking bollocks. And many people would disagree. They'd be like, how could you be so insensitive? And I'm like, see, people. I was having a conversation with a soundskin from Peru the other day, and we were talking about, like, let's say I was born 83. So I remember life before 9/11. I remember life before social media, internet, the advent of camera phones. And it's kind of like, if you're born in the, late 70s to the early 90s, let's say, you've straddled quite a bit of time on both sides of that major advancement, for better or worse. And a lot of the people who are maybe 10, 15 years younger than me now, I worry for them, because a lot of their focus and attention is going on things that have been artificially created to be divisive. And that's how I see it. And I think it's unfair. I think we've all been pitted against each other over trivialities, while there are serious fucking criminal activities taking place in the highest echelons of power. And that's my fucking 2 cents on that issue. But at the end of the day, a war, in many ways, it is a fucking reset. Is this what Schwab and the boys mean with the World Economic Forum when they talk about the Great Reset? As in, are they looking at things going, okay, there's too many people, penicillin, and has basically too many people are around, and like what's his name, Urel Havari talks. Well, what do you do with all these useless eaters? All you can do is give them drugs and video games. But the thing is, when you outsource all the labor from these countries and you take away the people's purposes, what are they going to do? They're going to get depressed. They're going to feel like they don't have a purpose. They're going to resort to taking drugs and alcohol. And the devil makes work for idle hands. And if you don't have any purpose and you feel existentially that you're caught in a cul-de-sac. I saw this guy yesterday. His name was Nathan. What was his name? Followed him yesterday. See if I can find it. He had a good point. Nathan Alabak, his name is, and he was on. It was a TikTok video, but this guy Nathan Alabak, he discussed how the third place has been removed. Let's say the same can be said for Europe. Let's say if you take he's talking about America, for example. So you have the first place and the second place. The first place is the home, the second place is work, but the third place, clubs, churches, sports halls, town squares, parks, anything recreational, and they were basically moved because um, of car dependency and and suburbs springing up. So then they tried to make shopping centers and malls to try and recreate that. But then the smaller shops were squeezed out, and then you have the bigger shops. So there's no cultural cohesive fulcrum. So then you had like kids in the suburbs would then have garage bands and skate parks, and they would try and organically recreate that. But the third places are all gone. So there's nowhere that people hang. I mean, obviously these places exist, but it's those incidental chance encounters that you have, and you make friends in that third place. And I think that is being eroded in the West as well. And that that goes towards like I don't know, I fucking lost my train of thought, but you get what I'm saying. Shawnee says, all I know is a load of union workers died in construction of the Death Star that nobody talks about. Yeah, I mean, I always, like for me, when I was a kid, I always felt bad for the bad guys in a lot of films. And the idea that an entire Death Star was blown up twice, and the Star Destroyers, it pisses me off, to be honest with you, because I had a collection of Star Wars figures, and I actually went and started buying them from the secondhand store called Gravy Train. I used to buy Star Wars figures for 75p, and I was so impressed with the parade of the Empire in Return of the Jedi before they went to take on the Ewoks, that I would just wanted to buy loads of stormtroopers and those speed bikers. So I had shitloads of them. But the rebels, no, never really kind of thought, Han Solo, Luke, and the boys. But I always liked the lads on, because it's a whole fucking, maybe someone was a stormtrooper because they were like, oh shit, man, I've got to join this because there's good pension opportunities and you get well paid and I can take care of my kids. Whole fucking all gone. Noah Gav says all the OnlyFans models are on recruit difficulty. Oh yeah, they would be. Yeah. Missy, it's what people decide to do that makes them who they are, not what happens to them. It's a very good point. Thank you again for your insightful input there. Irish Newfoundland Bear, how are you doing? Good to see you. Evening, Martin. Some bag of metaphors on you tonight. Oh ho ho! And I haven't even finished the fucking first can. I have now though. OOG. The rebels only went after financial targets. They haven't got away, Undefeated army. Kevin Murphy, that's a class feline there. Oh, it's a big unit. What's the Viper been up to? No idea, mate. Oh, look at it's Simba Man. You see, I get really excited when men talk about food. Ha ha ha, stop it. Coriander Man's a game changer. See, Sean, that'll be your South American influencer or Central American, the Guatemalan touch with the cilantro. I used to hate coriander, and then I realized that one of my favorite dishes of all time, well, tikka and green curry, and then Mexican food all featured coriander. So, fucking coriander, man. Love it. Missy was really in love with Anthony Bourdain. Was he bumped off? Bit sus. I heard you were outside Extravision selling people dishwasher tablets and scratch cards. No. Heroin with steez. Oi, oi, boys. Kevin Murphy. Dwarf women in the Tolkien universe are supposed to have beards. They are cowards for not committing to it. And in response to that, Mechanoid says, Murphy, my Bulgarian girlfriend doesn't touch the stuff. The drink, that is. Obsessed with feta, though. Feta. Not bad. Stick it in an old soup later so it doesn't disintegrate. Kevin E. Moran. A man, Kevin E. Well, book. Great, you're live again. Kills my night shift. Kev, you stick with me, boy. Like the stamp said to the envelope, stick with me. Us cunts are going places. Anyone here selling Arctic Monkeys tickets? Blee wants to know. Disney is a psychopathic entity. I think any big CEO company becomes a psychopathic entity because it's all about the bottom line, and it gets so big and it sprawls to be a zero sum game where it's basically all or nothing. And again, with it being on the stock market as well, stocks and being public company, you know, it goes to show the fickle nature of humans. As soon as they, and that's how show business works as well. The artist is like, you are your own company, and your market value is, like the stock market. And it's fucking, human beings are fickle as fuck. They're a crowd, they're a herd animal at the end of the day. Power in numbers. I always prefer to be the lone wolf. There's gonna be tears before bedtime. Swag dealers, gangsters, bare knuckle boxers. Wouldn't want to go around theirs, would you? Well, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Something tells me there's gonna be tears before bedtime. Danny Dyer, Britain's Deadliest Men. Kevin E. Murphy, McKenna. Yeah, mine's always cooking ban banitsa in the mornings, and the fridge is always full of feta. Fucking not too bad. Leitrim Lover. The Great Reset is starting to look like the great escape for humanity. The light is starting to shine on the shit that was always hidden from us. Great potential for new perspectives and ideas. Leitrim Lover, I would tend to agree with you there. A lot of people now are aware of. I mean, the first I had heard about Davos, and this has been going on for many, many, years, decades, was 2018 or 19, I think it was, when that Dutch guy posed a couple of tricky questions to them. It's all basically they're people who are on the take, making big money, and it's money laundering, and they they talk a good game about being virtuous. It's like fucking Al Gore and his Inconvenient Truth saying that New York would by 2019 be underwater. Fear sells, and the problem is people trust authority too much instead of trusting their own instincts. It's like, oh, trust the science. No, I trust my fucking instincts, man, and my instincts were right. And there's no amount of fucking coercion or ostracization was gonna fucking convince me otherwise. Go with your gut. Your second brain is in the gut, according to Chinese traditional medicine practitioners. Good gut health is very important. Good diet and all that kind of stuff. Go become forklift certified, boys. Kevin, handy fucking number, man. You put your tunes on, knock around the forklift all day, money in the bank. A great job is something you can get educated at the same time doing. A job where you can be fucking, as they say as Luke Wilson, Owen Wilson's brother? He says in Idiocracy, I just want a job where I can be left alone. I can't screw up. That's a great job to have. I can lift a fork, no bother. It's putting it down's my problem, says McCanoid. Fucking Paddy the Betty job. Baj Mahaj, did you see the new Beavis and Butthead sketch where Beavis and Butthead walk in on a white privilege college lecture? It's brilliant. But I want to see that. Yeah, Mike Judge knows the fucking crack. He knows the crack fucking well. And he was the guy who, funny enough, directed Idiocracy. And Office Space was another great one as well. Missy said, I learned a lot in college, but I learned most in grad school. Nathan Fielder, who's that? Nathan Carter. Seriously, we need a big hug, Shawneen, says Missy. My missus would stab me. Missy, stop flirting with Big Chicago. I like the way there's a nice bit of chat in the comments. I like the fact that a community has grown around this channel, and it's a nice little vibe. Always feels like having a little hoose party. Baj Mahaj, has anyone been in Ballinasloe lately? It's a kip now. It's sad to see because Ballinasloe used to be a thriving town back in the day. I haven't been there, unfortunately. or fortunately from what you're saying. Those lads building the Death Star weren't soldiers, probably just contractors happy to make good cash in hand. Oh, fucking damn right. Sloan Martin, I'm fucked. Good night, Ronan. JD, who had the amazing idea of using time by Culture Club as one of the themes of Hardy books? It's probably Chris, I'd say. Is that the one that goes? Missy, Sukalamik, will we see you in G time time soon? Hopefully. I mean, like, I know that the comedy festival is on there, but I've taken 2 fucking gigs in Kalmar, and I'd probably make more money if I went to fucking Galway, and I'd have more crack. But I fucking committed to it. I'll see. I'll see what the crack is. Kevin Moran, I actually sent you a message on Instagram. Don't know if you still use it. Yeah, look, if you're sending me messages on Instagram, I'm fucking shite for getting back to it because your inbox is clogged up with like people just sending like way fire emojis and stuff. And so yeah. So apologies to anybody who sent messages that I haven't got back to. I'm not being a prick, but I'm a bit burnt out from social media, to be honest with you. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. Is that some Malcolm in the Middle stuff? Is it? You gotta have probiotics or you'll go cray, says Missy. Lavin's been around here since the year dot, selling bullets to the Chans and the rat at the same time. Every day I feel like the fella in that movie. That's not a good sign, says Shawnee. Your will to be a great dad will lead you every place good. Please God, I always wanted kids, and it's not easy. But then anything good doesn't come easy, and hopefully they'll look after me when I get old, and I'll teach them a bit like Keith Allen. Like Keith Allen was, he was in a fair few things, but he didn't have the same success as Alfie and Lily Allen. Hopefully my kids might end up in that, but I don't want them going anywhere near fucking fame until they're old enough to handle it. But they're both like some of the stuff that my son comes out with, like the crack I have with the kids. Like they've got a brilliant sense of humor, and I remember my sister Trisha telling me years ago that her kids were her best mates, and I was like, hanging out with kids, man. But no, I get it now. I get it. It's a great thing, as McGregor would say. It is a beautiful thing. It's October morning here in my country, mate, enjoying a great breakfast. Una Ang Tao. Where are you? Where are you based, Una? Is it October already? Oh, fucking is, man. 1st of October. Well, yeah, I wrote that in the bit, but okay, yeah, it's October. Yeah, happy October, everybody. Seen you walking down Shop Street a few years ago, looking hench. Thank you, Suka. I was on the fucking roids. No, I wasn't really, but I probably was working out, and was hoping to go and do a bit today, but haven't done it for a while. Garode, hi Martin. Do you know what the story with NBR? Nothing but ripping. Will they be on again? I don't know. I keep meaning to give Peter a shout, man. He's a fucking sound man, and during all of the chaos of the last year, he was a great man to talk to, and I really must. Pete, if you're watching this, man, give us a call. Always fucking enter to you, hey. That's another great channel. If anyone is hasn't subscribed to Nothing But Ripping, Pete's just a fucking sound dude. He's just a good fucking working class man with the brain of a fucking South Dublin solicitor. Would you have any interest in the League of Ireland? Asked Adam Burke. Well, I suppose I've been initiated into the halls of Finn Harps thanks to my mate Rod. Yeah, apparently St. Pat's are going to be playing Djurgården over here in Stockholm soon, so that'll be a bit of crack. Any new eps of Mind Suite or Hardy Books, pal? True comedy gold. That thanks very much. I'll have to have a word with my other lad, without giving any info away. But yeah, definitely, I must. I haven't done anything on the show, and hopefully, if after this, I will. Now everything's set up, I'll give the next Hardy book a go. Kevin Moran, is that a pussy I hear in the background? Fucking is, man. Fucking scraping the couch. Stop. Squished off. Come here to me, Simba. Come. Oh, you see, this is what I like. These are good cats, man. You know what I mean? They're good crack. They're cats that'll come up to you. They're like dogs. Look at the fucking vibe of him, man. He's a fucking shoulders on him like a pair of apples. Strong, man. He's got biceps. Biceptennial man featuring Robin Williams' job. And he's got, if you look at the tips of his ears, got little hairs on them. Oh, a bit of fucking hairy action on the tips. Look at that. You can see that crack, man. He's like a dog. Good fucking solid bastard. Pussy heaven round here, man, says no autographs. Who's winning the World Cup this year, Martin? I mean, what a shite time to have the World Cup on middle of fucking winter. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no beer garden crack. None of that. Who will win it this year? Good question. I mean, let's face it. It's going to be either France, Italy, Argentina. Belgium will do well. Germany. Brazil. Yeah, Bombay Bad Boy just said it. Brazil. He is hating you. Nah, he's all right. RTU doing a series up here in January looking for people. I might have to come out of retirement. You might have to. Give me some intel on that, Kevin Ian. Italy aren't in it. They didn't fucking... So they win the Euros and then they don't qualify for the World Cup. Holland looked good as well. Croatia. Is Modric still playing for Croatia? Portugal might have a good chance. Look, it's a fucking game of two halves with many games. Sweden are out of it. So are fucking Ireland. England are in it. England, you know, they got to the final of the Euros last year. They might well get there again this year. Are the Germans still good? Don't know. I mean, like they're fucking solid. Like they're solid. the Democratic People's Republic of Korea have a shot. But like the time they bet Portugal 4-0, and that was a great game. That was. Ireland are class. All Ireland, like. How are you, Hacker Metal? You know, it's a fucking shame that Ireland aren't, you know, nice to see them winning the other day against Armenia in the League of Nations. Grode, I listened to your podcast with Paul Gallagher from a few years ago. Great conversation. He has a brilliant mind. Yeah, Paul's a funny fucker, man. He doesn't give a shit. Like, the way he talks to people is fucking off the charts. He was doing a DJ thing after Liam was playing here in Stockholm, and there was a couple of people sitting around in the room with him. There was this like dreadlock guy. He looked like he was wearing these like black contact lenses. So his eyes were all black. And he had like a tattoo on his face. And I said, "Who's this, Paul?" And he went, "Don't know. Some mad fucker on acid." That was his answer. Kevin Moore, it's called Obituary. Siobhan Cullen will be there. Main star Goona be on RTE, Hulu TV in America. Yeah, you see, if my agent was any fucking good, he'd give me the shout for this. But no, you don't want to give me the shout if someone's looking for me. I interviewed Cowboy, Kiev BA. I interviewed Cowboy on my radio program a little while ago and said there's plans for Hardy Bucks coming back, maybe summer 2023. Any more on it, Martin? Well, we'll have to see, man. There's a couple of there was supposed to be something going on, but the unfortunately the markets that the fundage was reliant on has gone sideways for a bit. Dear leader wants score 50 goals against Paris Saint-Germain with untied boots. My agent said to me, too intense. Yeah, that's fucking one way of saying it. Yeah, I don't know, man. Don't know. It'd be nice to get a fucking good agent who just like... See, the thing is for me, I've kind of realized that I kind of expect people to just be like, oh yeah, he's good. But I've got to actually start putting myself out there because I think I'm resting on laurels from a good while ago probably isn't the right attitude. So Yeah, there's been a lot going on personally as well in the last few months. I've moved house fucking few times, and I'm just still yet to unpack everything. So we'll see. But we I want to get back into it, but it's just fucking hard, man. Fucking divorce and a pandemic. The two drastically fucking life changing events to come at the same time, and living in a foreign country concurrently where nobody really knows your body of work. It's not the fuck, and then I took a Swedish test there the other day to see what my Swedish language was like, and it's bumped up too since the last time. But I feel like maybe just going back and fucking studying Swedish and doing it properly, because there's a lot like when I was in Swedish school when I was like 21, I wasn't taking it seriously because I was like, "Oh, how long am I going to be in Sweden for?" Didn't fucking listen to it. Aideen Doherty is the one looking for actors. Oh, is she now? Yeah, Aideen Doherty. It's going to be weird watching the World Cup in winter. Yeah, it is. It's going to be really weird. People like us won't do commercials. I got a national lottery advert 2 years ago, but I couldn't take it because we were all fucking moving house, and I would have been an awful bastard altogether if I'd done that and got £6,000. That would have been fucking handy now, and it would have been a day's shooting. Get over to LA and get yourself a Kardashian while you can. Any going fucking spare, is there? Fucking sort me out. Roshi Mack, my brother was about to sack his agent after 22 years, and literally the day before got offered a part worth a lot to him after him saying the woman had been doing fuck all for him. That's it. You never know how. I mean, look, life will throw some shit at you quite a lot of time, but it'll also throw you some great default opportunities, and you better fucking pounce on them. And as Henry Ford once said, opportunity often comes in overalls, meaning that you've got to fucking, if an opportunity comes, you have to work at it. You can't just like go, oh please, can I just get $1 million for sitting on my arse all day? SIM card. I haven't spoken to him for a good while actually. Have you seen McGahan's new gig? I haven't, mate. As I said, I haven't really been watching much TV, and I'm watching McGahan like talking. It's I could fucking do that anytime. Pick up the phone to him. Mark Hughes, I'm learning Swedish. We've all got the DVDs anyway. God, I'd say that'd be a fucking exciting bit of DVD work. I did I did an hour on Duolingo, and even like I really struggle at the fucking basic grammar, but I feel like if I just keep it going, then I'll be all right. Where are you working these days, Kev? Yeppers, old Simmy pulled a gig. He's doing all right. He's an ambitious fucker, as old Simmy. That lad will fucking do all right for himself. Oh, might get him on for a chat. Might get him on for the crack. But maybe my channel has become too spicy for such things. Sean says learn Swedish by watching porn. That's the old 70s stuff. It's not. I'm sure there probably is some Swedish porn on the go. Don't watch it anymore. Fucking best thing I ever did. I chat to Toast. I to be chatting to Toasty in a good bit. He lives up in Bundoran as well. I'm a night manager in a hotel in Bundoran. Oh, you're up there now, Kev? Yeah. Not too bad. Yeah, he's up that neck of the woods. I'm fucking surfing on the peak beyond in Bundoran. Doing a bit of fucking wrestling. Maloney is not safe for work. Digestry. See that video I put up the other day, showing on Twitter. It was like, meanwhile in San Francisco, there's just like two dudes and an Asian woman sitting in a paddling pool that was kind of like there was maybe like a couple of inches of piss that had accumulated on the other side, and they're just like some dude who's wearing a mask is just like pissing on them, and you just think to yourself like, the same people would be going fucking crazy telling you to wear a mask, but they'd be happily pissed on by passing strangers in a paddling pool full of piss. It just sums up the fucking level of how people's cognitive minds have I don't even know what I mean. What do you say? What do you say? I missed the dirty puddle response earlier. Fucking Egypt me. You're all right, Stephen. You're all right. Cove BA says, a fan loved hearing the story Stephen told about how he got involved with the books. Just met you after a long time in Galway and you were full of ideas. to get it going. That's right. Yeah, he's a good lad. Fair play to him. Stephen Grant, the old San Fran Golden Shower, the Golden Shower Bridge. I thought monkeypox was a thing. You see, they don't care. Obviously, it's they don't give a fuck, man, because you know this behavior is far more important than public health. Don't fucking slag it off. Whatever you do. Bundoran had Roshan said Bundoran had improved a lot. Jesus, I hated it as a kid. My brother had a holiday home in Mulletmore, so I spent a lot of time down in Rossnowla. Good surf down there, Roshan. Torshin's gone mad into growing vegetables. Yeah, Bundoran and Ballyshannon, where they're doing the series about a murder when where it dries up. Paddling pool full of piss. Yeah, it's fucking mental. But anyway, lads and lasses, thanks very much for sticking it out for an hour and 40 minutes. If you're watching us later on in the archives, please do drop a comment and like and fucking subscribe and all that shite. And if you want to send a little tip to the man, there's on the channel you'll have the PayPal link. Or if you want more of the Hardy book and you want to contribute to that, please join me over on Patreon, Hardy Books. I haven't really been doing an awful lot up on Patreon, but look, Blind Boy Boat Club has about 50 fucking grand a month, and he never puts anything up on Patreon. So it's like, if I just don't have the time to do it. But if you want to become a monthly subscriber on Patreon, and if I can get that bit wiggle room to sit down and be able to write, because at the moment I just have to focus on a day job at the moment because I'm living in the wrong fucking country. But yeah, any donations are fucking greatly appreciated, and I really do want to get. You're gonna enjoy the next part of the Hardy book. I'm really pushing the fucking envelope, and I'm thinking, push it as far as it'll fucking go, man. Push the membrane, but don't break the membrane, but push it. But lovely chatting to you all. Really enjoy that. Great questions, great banter in the in the chat group, and have a great weekend, everybody. And I'll probably be doing something during the week as K a month on Patreon. The thing is, I mean, I should. Why shouldn't I be doing that? I guess probably a fucking regular schedule would help. But I am aiming for every Friday night around midnight. I'll be doing these live streams. So put that in your diary if you're not doing much of that night. Garrod said, "Blind Boy is full of shit." I mean, it's amazing how he makes. Fairness to him, he's a great man. He's a great one-man marketing machine. He knows how to put himself in the right places. But yeah, have a nice time. And every Friday night, I'm going to try and definitely make that maybe a Wednesday afternoon. We'll see. But maybe I could try and do one a day. I don't know. I'll do my best. But I've had a lot of fun and enjoy the crack over the weekend. Stephen Grant said he's a bleeding heart liberal. Yeah, I mean, I don't think like I was a liberal. I don't know what that means anymore. I certainly haven't really. I mean, certain things have changed because I've grown older and I look at the way the world works through a different lens now that I have dependents on me, and I start thinking about their future and the world I leave behind. But like Stephen Grant, like him but hates politics. I haven't spoken to him for a long time, but I used to get on very well with him. And haven't seen him for years, and yeah, it's just the idea of being trotted out onto various talk shows and and having serious discussions while wearing a polythene bag. It's kind of like it kind of takes away from the seriousness of it. I'm not fucking slagging him, but yeah, like look, clearly I don't have that kind of reach because I just basically call things as I see them, and I don't and like. I don't want to bullshit people, and if that means that I rub people up the wrong way, fuck them. I don't care. I have no idea who most of you are, but you're lovely. Have a nice weekend, says Missy. Um, he's changed since up the ras, says Sean. Stephen Grant says, I think Blind Boy is being clever. He's a smart chap, but is playing the crowd. I'd say he knows what's going on. But like, if you're making great wedge, it's fucking hard to. It's a hard thing to turn down. Hard fucking thing, boy. Hard fucking thing. Jan Darrell says Hodge twins for the New World Order. Ox Johan, Dean Hennessy. Right, everyone, that's enough. Good night to everyone, especially Blind Boy. Good night, God bless to you, mate. Please send some Fabergé eggs over to Sweden, and sure, you give me the touch now. You'll give me the touch. You'll give me some of those little brown envelopes my way now, and we'll fucking say no more. Say no more. Anyway, good luck and good bless to a lot of you. Have a great weekend, and thanks for sticking around. And remember as well, fucking Lonely's Digest PayPal job. Fucking throw an old brown envelope into the mix. But other than that, no, I'm fucking sound. Good luck and good bless. I've enjoyed the crack with you. Bye bye. Chuck here later to you.